Thank you. How's everybody doing this morning? Good, good. I know most of you, and I'm actually going to just move this out of the way. I know most of you, and most of you have actually been in our store, but you might not know the history of what it is. So in 2010, my mom decided that she was going to move to Ponca City, and that's because of grandkids. All of you know that that's pretty much what rules a grandma's life is grandkids. So mom moved here, and I was actually, believe it or not, working on a ranch. That's what I did from, I was about 10, 11 years old until right before I moved to Ponca City. I raised and sold show cattle, mainly registered Hereford cattle. But club calves. It was really fun. I enjoyed it. I actually know one person in the room from that industry. It's a lot like owning a boutique. You know, I'm making cattle pretty so kids can win. So you know, same thing, right? So mom decided to move to town, and she said there was a boutique for sale. And retail and fashion and design were things that I'd always been interested in. So she said, if we buy the boutique, would you come home and run it? And I looked at it and I said, yes, I will come home and run it if we move it as soon as possible. So this boutique was called the Bag Lady Boutique. It was kind of a Ponca City staple. A lot of people used it to buy gifts for their wives or things for themselves. And we were excited to own, to be a part of Ponca City. What we saw, we really liked. So we purchased the building, or purchased the business. The building was actually owned by the public school. It was by Turtle's Donuts on 7th Street. I gained about 15 pounds when I moved to town, being right beside Turtle's Donuts. So that was another reason I had to get out of there. So 6 months later, in June of 2011, we opened the Bag Lady downtown. We purchased a building from Mr. Fred Betcher, and we've been there ever since. It's a historic property. It's over 100 years old. It's a beautiful building with original tin ceilings. And like I said, we were really excited to be there. We slowly started expanding our business. We added Bare Minerals makeup. Then my sister added a salon, which it was her in the beginning, and she said, it's just going to be me. It's just going to be me. I just need this one little spot. And now it's half of our store, which is great. That's definitely something I learned, an income that you can count on. That those girls back there pay a booth rent, so that really helps me pay my mortgage and insurance every month. And I'm going to need a new roof soon. So that was a great decision that my mom and sister and I made together. Then let me think. 2 years ago, we did a rebrand and remodel. It was time for new flooring. It was time for an update on our decor, and we were kind of had outgrown the name The Bag Lady. The Bag Lady was a great name for us selling handbags, but we had definitely evolved into more clothing, jewelry, name brand items, and we also wanted to do some home decor. So we started Liles and Company in October of, this is 2017. And that was exciting. We closed down for about 2.5 weeks, which was tough. If any of you are in business, you know it's tough to lose that revenue stream for 2.5 weeks, especially in the fall. We did that the last 2.5 weeks of September. And then October 1 or 2, we did our re-grand opening with our rebrand and our new items, and it was great. It's been good. There's still room to grow. Things I would like to do that I've said now for 3 years is an online store. You know, I always say, what's the adult thing you always say? When things slow down. In a couple months, when things slow down. And I always say that, and so that's something I'm going to actually try to dedicate myself to this January, is to start a small, unique online store. I've got some ideas of selling like the entire outfit rather than the individual item. So be looking for that, things to come. So my mom and sister and I run the store together as a family, which is a blessing and can also be a curse at times, everybody knows. But my family's great, and we do love working together and spending time together. I'm trying to think of any other We were very excited. I don't know, some of you in here might not know what Kendra Scott is, but that's a brand we carry, and we were super excited to be approved to get it. That's something I worked for actually a couple years to get. So when we got Kendra Scott, that really helped boost sales. That's definitely a sale driver because it brings people in. It's something they already know. And there's a set price point to that, which is really nice. A lot of people do ask me when they're wanting to start a business or a boutique, retail per se, they ask me how you do pricing. And that is tough. In Ponca City, I definitely try to keep my prices down. The same brands that I carry, that my friends that own boutiques in other larger communities in, say, Edmond, Oklahoma City, even some small communities that have a larger shopping area like Elk City, they're able to really bump up their prices a touch more, even do what the manufacturer might have recommended you do. Whereas I always try to be 2 to 5 to 10% under that. Just being in a small town with a smaller shopping area, I want to be able to offer that to my customers. And that brings me to what do I have, what brings you to my store that other people don't always offer, that you can't go out of town and get. And I feel like that's customer service and personal shopping. Those are things we always try to help our customers with when it comes to gift giving. That's probably, I would say, our bread and butter is gift giving. Sure, a lot of people come in and shop for themselves, but I see a lot of, you've seen the deer in the headlight looks. That season is coming. I'll have droves of gentlemen coming in our store, and they're like this, So that is something that we definitely try to help with is helping them find something, even if we don't know their wife, girlfriend, daughter. We just try to help them find something that the majority of ladies will like. We'll even ask them, can you pull up their Facebook? And can we see their Facebook? And we look through at things that they're already wearing or things that they like. So that helps a lot. Speaking of Facebook, social media is probably one of my number one sales drivers, marketing-wise. I do try to use local radio, newspaper, but Facebook is very affordable. And Instagram also, just social media in general. I haven't quite got the handle of Twitter yet and how to use that for my shopping, and one of these days maybe I will. But believe it or not, I'm not very tech savvy. So if you are an entrepreneur, I just recommend you using social media because it's not hard, and you've just got to make yourself use it every day. Let me see what time. I'm still good. We have 5 stylists in the back, four stylists and a barber in our salon. Our barber is full service. She actually trimmed my beard up for me last night at 9:15 because I didn't get it done while she was at work, and then she had basketball games with kids, so she's great. She came back to fix me up so I would not look homeless when I came to speak to you guys. So, and I will say the reason the beard is so long this year is usually every June I shave it off to go on vacation. I didn't get a vacation this year. So we'll see what happens, how long this thing's going to get until I get to go on vacation. We love Ponca City. It's been a blessing to be here. It can be tough in a small town to run a retail store, especially with the fast approaching internet and non-brick and mortar stores, but we love it here, and we love supporting the community. That's something that we take pride in. It's not very often do we say no to somebody when they come in and ask for a donation. Every year I say that I'm going to keep track, and I think it's best that I don't. So I mean, we have a stack of receipt letters from super nice organizations this thick every year, and I think we just kind of hand them to the accountant and say good luck with that. It's hard to say no to people when they come in and ask when you love your community, and that's what we do. And so we're excited that the community supports us, so we're able to do that in turn. I think that's yes, sir.
Yeah. I just wanted to note one other thing that I thought was such an advantage where your store is you have front parking, you have rear parking, a large parking lot. That's where I go when I come in.
It is.
And I think that's a real advantage for you.
Location is definitely was something tough for us. So when we first moved to town and we purchased the store, we definitely looked at 14th Street. That's kind of the hub. That's the 80s, 90s, early 2000 mentality is you need to be on that larger thoroughfare. But after kind of researching, people drive that thoroughfare a lot, but it's a lot harder to pull in. You really need to be into a hub, like the new shopping center where the Perk is. I love that coffee shop. So that's great because they're pulling in multiple businesses. That's a place you can pull into and hit multiple places. That wasn't something that was available at the time, luckily, for us, because that took us to Main Street. And Main Street's been another blessing for us. We realize that that's the heart of the community, and we realize that our investment is somewhat placemaking. We're not necessarily a need store, we're a want store, and it's hopefully still wanted by the community. That outlet, that place to come shop, I get a lot of people coming in that their friends came from out of town. So what do you do for the day? You go have lunch, you stop by Liles and Company, you hit the Marlin Mansion, of course. So we like being that thing to do and adding that to the community, and I think that's what downtown is and does, and so we're glad to be there. And so when we were looking, we found our building. There were a lot of other ones for sale that Mr. Betcher and a few other people had. I wanted one with some historic value, and I saw that parking lot with the double doors, and that has really helped, especially with adding the salon. People are kind of under the mentality that parking's a problem downtown, but in reality, you always get to park at least the same distance you did from Walmart. It's just, you might be this way rather than this way. So it's exciting to be downtown right now and see the growth also. Does anybody else have any other questions about the boutique or the struggles? I will say one struggle. Part of the reason I couldn't get my hair cut and beard trimmed yesterday was because I was on the phone with my point of sale system. And I 2 years ago, tried a new fancy schmancy point of sale system, and it's been a horrible debacle. And so I'm looking for a new one, especially as of last night. So there's always growing pains. Like I said, we've wanted to do online sales, and that's really tough. Because that's kind of its own, it's hard to explain. I have to have two inventories for online sales, because if you walk in my store to purchase something, that instantly has to come out of the online inventory. And there aren't very many that mesh those two together, and that's why I chose my horrible point of sale system that I'm using right now, because they were able to do that. That's why I'm trying to work on something a little more unique rather than just an online store with all of my inventory online. Yes, sir.
When are you going to have your man day, shopping day?
So that is every Thursday evening in December. So you'll have to stop by. That is something fun we do. We stay open late on Thursday evenings. Everybody's welcome, but we kind of gear the evening toward the gentlemen. They can come in. We definitely always have free gift wrapping. Our barber stays late to help them get that trim up before they go to family Christmas or a lot of holiday parties. And we just kind of help them find that perfect gift. And we also, this year, we've had menswear for a couple of years, but this year we really amped it up, and we're excited about it. It's done really well. It's Southern Tide menswear. It's tough to find gentlemen's clothes in town, so we're excited to be able to offer that for Ponca City. So Thursday nights, any night, we'll be there, and I'm sure I'll see you. Good. Does anybody else have any? Yes, sir. The bottle shop is actually my sister's. My sister's Tracy Araggi, and we own that, or I say we as a family, I guess. We all help out a little bit. I try to help out as little as possible. Paul, my husband, helps more there than I do. He's kind of our computer guru, and that's their main thing is computer work, and I'm terrible at tech. So it's on the corner of South Avenue and 14th Street. My sister made a big investment and purchased that corner building a couple years ago and redid it, put new windows. She did everything locally. We were excited about that. With the liquor law changes, she was able to put in some coolers. So it's a historic building also. obviously have a soft spot in our hearts for old buildings in our family, and we were excited to get that one purchased. That was a long time coming for us, and she loves having the bottle shop. I know it's a lot of work and also a lot of headache, as many of you entrepreneurs know, but it also can be very rewarding. I think it could be rewarding for her because her kids can't go in there, so she probably gets away from them when she goes to work for sure. So yes, sir.
Okay, well, customer service is the key to being successful at any retail business. And hats off to Liles and Company in the bottle shop. Great customer service. And that keeps people coming back all the time.
Well, thank you. And I will say that we do have great employees, and one reason we do have great employees, we don't pay the very, very best, but we definitely pay above minimum wage. We try to pay a somewhat living wage. So that's something to think about as an entrepreneur, is your return on your investment. Sure, you can get this employee for this price, but for this price I get employees that for the most part are super trustworthy. We've had very little issues in 9 years of having retail with our employees. And we always get, I love Rich shops around. He spreads the love through Ponca City, but every time he does shop at one of our businesses, he always ends up texting me and complimenting whoever's working there, and I appreciate that. So yes, your employees are your livelihood. I mean, without our employees, we couldn't do it. I luckily, at my store, I have a lady who's kind of behind the scenes that helps me a lot on the computer side of it these days, getting things in the system, so that helps a lot. But I appreciate you complimenting our employees. Yes?
Well, I just have to bring to the forefront, though, that Tara not only gives great customer services, he gives great hugs.
Thank you. Well, and that's what's great about our line of work. People come in, they're shopping for a special occasion, family pictures, even a funeral sometimes, and I've gotten to know my customers, and that's really exciting. And even if I don't, a lady or a gentleman walks in, and I may not know them right off the bat, but they were sent in by somebody that I really know and now call a friend. And so that's the great thing about not only being in the retail business, but being in the retail business in Ponca City, because this is an outstanding community with great people, and we love it here. So I appreciate that. You give pretty good hugs too.
Can I say one more thing? Yes. So when you mentioned about people from out of town, we had the head of the Senate here, Senator Greg Treat, and his wife, who was with the state chamber, had been here numerous times, always shopping at your business. And when Senator Treat was here, she said, "Do not leave Ponca City without bringing me something from Liles and Company."
That's cute.
So we walked him down,
yes,
and he got something.
Yes, I appreciate that.
So that's really good for Ponca City.
We try to offer things that not everybody has. There's a lot of great boutiques downtown, and we're so excited to have them. I actually hear there's another one coming soon, so keep your ears out. That's just a great, like I said about the perk and being in a shopping area. It's so nice to have shopping. When somebody comes, you bring Senator Treat, or his wife comes, they can stop at my store, they can stop down the street at the Attic Boutique, they can go to Prairie Rose. There's just so many great options downtown, and it continues to grow. So it's fun for Ponca to have that, for sure.
Taryn, I love that you have bare minerals because that's my makeup and stuff, but I'm always curious, what percentage is the makeup versus the clothing and the accessories and things like that, just for your business? Did it help you?
It does. So that's kind of a tricky question. You have to have so much inventory in an item that has multiple SKUs of things. So if you think of Bare Minerals makeup, there are 14 to 32 shades, but there are 4 different types of makeup that each have 18 to 32 shades. And then there's also the blushes, you name it. So that's a big inventory. Yes, sales are good there, but to purchase into that and to hold your inventory is a lot of money. So there are a lot of items that I would love to carry, a lot of brands that I'd love to carry, but you just can't really do that investment unless it's really going to bring people in. So Bare Minerals is maybe one of those. Yes, it may not be my bread and butter. I may not make the majority of my profit off of Bare Minerals, but it brings in a steady customer base that then shops for other things. So that's kind of a give or take. That's one that you really have to watch your margins, and that's something we're working on. That is something that this terrible POS system that I'm using did good. It is good at it. It helped me and my mom understand our margins visually to see that, but that's its only saving grace at this point. So yes, and that's Lightspeed, by the way. If anybody was asking what my point of sale system is that I'm griping about, it is Lightspeed. But yes, Bare Minerals is a great product. And on the opposite side of that, Kendra Scott is a great product that I don't necessarily have to have a buy-in. I mean, they require me to spend so much a season, but I'm going to spend that anyway. And I don't have to have 4 of the red necklace. I can technically just buy one. And a lady coming in, she might be shopping for a red necklace, but I can kind of talk her into the blue one or the all gold one that would go with her red outfit. Whereas in the Bare Mineral, I'm not going to talk you out of your shade. That'd be a horrible thing to do to you. So that's, if that answers your question on the Bare Minerals. So yes.
Okay, I'm another one that was really glad you brought in Bare Minerals. But what is your purpose in that? Since John's was going out, did you actually look at that as a reason to bring Bare Minerals in, to bring that John's customer to you?
It wasn't as much as of bringing that John's customer. It was that is an affordable makeup, that the buy-in is actually something that we could even think about biting off. We also wanted to do Estee Lauder and Clinique. The problem with that is that they actually require now it's an $80,000 makeup counter. And that's the counter, not the makeup that goes inside of it. And so they required something very similar when John got it, but Mr. Betcher, being the very brilliant man he is, was able to talk them out of that and get a custom-made counter for John's, and spent 1/8 of the money, but I wasn't able to get that done. So my sister wanted Bare Minerals regardless. That was her favorite makeup. She knew it was best for everyone because it's actually good for your skin rather than other things that aren't. But we also wanted the other two. And yes, I think it was I guess it was less about getting that John's customer and more about just keeping that amenity in town. We were afraid that if we didn't pick up at least one of those 3 makeups, that there wasn't going to be a place to buy makeup in town. So, does anybody else have any other questions? I always get asked about trends when I'm places, and it really just seems like this year it's leopard print, lots of leopard print. But I also, one thing I liked about this year rather than other years there wasn't just a crazy trend that went. It's all kind of mellowed out. The boot cuts back, the flare leg denim, but other than that, it's you can kind of carry over your wardrobe for a little bit of time. So, yes.
What back-end operations are imperative? Like, you're talking about your point of sale system.
Mm-hmm.
What are other things that maybe entrepreneurs have to start thinking about?
In my line of work, it's inventory, and that gets really, really tough because in some businesses, their sales are pretty moderate or at least pretty even all year round, and mine are totally one-sided. I mean, November, December is my year. And then January, June, and July, I might as well just close the doors. I don't. I'm open January, June, and July. But I mean, there are days where no one comes in January, June, and July, and that's scared me the first couple of years. But after research, I realized that's retail. So inventory, just inventory. Keeping your inventory where you need it, not looking empty on those months you're not going to sell anything. And I feel like 8 years in, we're just now getting a handle on how to do that and how to, well, then that takes you into financing. I mean, as you know better than I do, banks aren't as willing to give rotating lines of credit as they have in the past. And we do have one, and it works really well for us, but for those first few years, we did not. And growing up on a ranch, I mean, definitely had a rotating line of credit, or there was no way to live. I mean, that's what you lived on. So getting into retail, it was a little different. Vendor relations, something that's different in my retail than others is I have to pay for my product before they ship it. And that's really irritating. Like, my husband's in a different line of work, and he pays for the product that he gets in 45 days after he gets it. And so I have to pay for it before they ship it. And then if it comes in with a problem, I then have to work to get my credit back. So that's, I think that's, I think your vendor relations and your keeping product, your stock levels, I think those are the two biggest. You don't want anything in the back. If you have it, you want it out for you to buy. So.
You are a big dreamer, so what, and you're in Ponca City for life, you've told me. Yep. So what is your big plan? Are you going to franchise Liles and Company? Are you going to open up different types of businesses?
You know, that's
cattle?
I probably am not going to do the cattle deal on the side. That sure was fun, but it sure is pricey. And not, it's rewarding in a lot of ways, but maybe not in the money side. I do weddings also, and that's something I enjoy, and it's something I can do here in town as well as outside the community. Destination weddings, Oklahoma City and Tulsa as well. So that's been fun. Franchising's hard. That's something we talked about on opening another boutique in something like Stillwater, Oklahoma City, or Tulsa. If you're not there to run the business, that even puts more on that employee. So that's a little scary. I think I'm living my dream right now. I know that's hard, and we all need something more to work toward. And I feel like I do want to increase my sales and increase our footprint in Ponca City and increase the number of weddings I don't know if I can increase the number of weddings I do, but I do want to grow in that aspect. But I am a dreamer, and I think this is kind of what we dreamed, and we just keep working toward that. Now, my dream for the community as a whole is for downtown to just keep growing, and it is. It's on the right path with the investment that the Ponca City Development Authority made, with the investment that local entrepreneurs have made downtown. Buildings are turning over, new things are happening. The biggest room in the world is the room for improvement, and so we still have room to improve. But so that's my dream, is for Ponca. I guess my current dream is I want a big movie theater downtown, and maybe that'll happen someday. So.
What can the community do for you?
Well,
I think you have a lot of professionals here, Taryn. So, as a community, what can we do to help you?
As a community, continue to shop local, for sure. Not just with me, but just within the community. That does make a big impact. If you think about I'm on a lot of nonprofit boards, and we have to raise a lot of money in town, and that money comes from in town. Not very often does it come from out of town. The Cherokee Strip Golf Tournament does a fabulous job in bringing $80,000. They bring $100,000 in, but $80,000 of that's from out of town, and that's amazing. But the rest of us can't seem to get that done. So just remember that as you're shopping this Christmas, to try to keep your dollars local. The other thing is just keep downtown in your top of mind. Remember that's where your parades are. That's where you gather. That's the heart of the community. Not that 14th Street isn't just as important. When I do fundraising, I get a lot of money from our great entrepreneurs on 14th Street. But downtown's a special place, and that's not just in our community. That's every community. Luckily for us, our city has done an amazing job with sidewalks, street lights, keeping it looking beautiful. Our planters, what they do. So, just that's what the community can do to help me, is just help us, help the community shop local and keep downtown in mind. So, thank you.